probably not going to be able to connect. We're live!
We're live! Hooray! Well, hi everyone. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Coleman.
And we are the co-founders of liatco.com. This is our weekly check-in video here on Facebook Live, which we will probably have bleed over to our... does it say our connection is working? Oh, our connection is weak. So maybe you can hear this and maybe you cannot. So this is our weekly check-in video. Every week we want to get together with you guys online here and let you know what we've been up to. We're going to talk about some highs and some lows of what it's been like living in this van and traveling across North America. And we're also going to talk to you about some cool things that we've either seen or that we've heard or that we have been watching. And then we'll answer any questions. Sometimes we get some good questions on Twitter or on Instagram, so we'll use this as a platform to answer any of the pressing questions you may have for us.
Yeah, so right now we're about an hour south of Las Vegas. It's kind of weird here. Behind us is a machine gun range. In front of us is a monster truck. To our left is a bunch of Native American and alien murals. So this part of Arizona and Nevada is totally weird, totally creepy, and totally awesome. It's also, incidentally, very cold. Way colder than we thought we'd be. Last night was -3. We slept in a Walmart parking lot in Kingman, Arizona.
Yeah.
And it was -3. We piled all the blankets we had and wore like full. I wore this hoodie with this up over my head. So really cold.
Yeah, a lot colder than we were expecting.
Yeah, we're heading to Las Vegas where we're going to be exploring the healthy side of Sin City. I'm doing a story for a Canadian magazine, Inside Fitness.
Mm-hmm. And I get to tag along, which is really exciting.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. It's been a pretty crazy week. We're going to be in 3 states in a matter of minutes. We've had a bit of a roller coaster with some real highs and real lows. So
is there a full moon, or was there a full moon?
Yeah, it was
there
weird.
was a lot of weird
really
stuff
weird
that happened to us this week. Okay, so I'm going to start with a high. One of my highs, of course, was seeing familiar faces. Coleman's family was down here in Arizona, so we had a chance to hang out with them, and it was awesome. We ate a bunch of good food, and we saw this cool Christmas market in the botanical gardens just outside of Phoenix, and there was all these different live music, kind of installations or live musicians playing. It was so fun. We went for some awesome hikes in the desert, and we went mountain biking one day. I just learned that I love mountain biking when we were out this way a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, shout out to the Oborns who put us up for the second time and took us out on the bikes as well. It
was so much fun last time and fun this time. But when I was on the bike, I was going uphill on this very narrow little path, all sorts of cacti on both sides of me, and I ended up tipping into a cactus. A prickly pear cactus, it's called, so you can Google that. It's very aggressive looking cactus, not some... Are there any nice looking cactus? I don't know. Anyways, I fell into it. I actually the bike fell into it, and then I dove sort of on my side into it. And when you fall on a cactus, you get a lot of prickles in your body. And those prickles bruise afterwards, so my body is just covered in bruises and covered in these red specks. I kind of look like I have chicken pox. It was pretty awful. I cried, but I didn't cry because it hurt at the time. I cried mostly because I just really frightened myself. It could have been a lot worse of a fall than it was. And so I got back up on the bike and continued biking along, and we got back to the house and we were picking out prickles. I don't know, there must have been hundreds in my body, big ones and little ones, but the biggest one was stuck in my knee. And Coleman noticed that it was just this sort of little thing sticking out.
Yeah, it was sticking out about this much.
And then we pulled it, and it was
literally in her leg, like a third of an inch, a good third of an inch.
Right in the side of my knee, jabbed in here. It hurts to touch still. So I pulled it out. Well, actually, I thought we were going to need pliers because it was in so deep, but we finally got it out, and it bled, and then it left this massive bruise all over my leg. So, yeah, if you have ever wondered what it feels like to fall into a cactus, I can tell you it probably feels like what you're imagining, which is very, very awful.
Pretty much the worst thing you can do in the desert is to fall into a cactus. So that was one of Lisa's lows for sure, but it leads into one of my highs, which was dusting her off, pulling out a few of those prickles, and then watching her get back on that bike with prickles still in her knee and ride it the rest of the way, and even make improvements on her abilities as a mountain biker along the way. So that was a real high for me. my low was feeling like a 70-year-old man on Monday night and Tuesday morning when my heart went into atrial fibrillation, which is one of the most common arrhythmias that there is. We did the Santa Claus race on Saturday in San Diego, which was a blast. We rested on Sunday. Then on Monday we went for a run, and I charged up the hill thinking, you know, as it was really difficult, I'm going to push myself here, and this is where I get the most benefits. Afterward, I was stretching. I noticed that my heart was kind of doing a jungle beat, like not the steady one too, but like a bump, 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 bump.
You
bump,
could see in his chest, it was crazy.
Yeah, so I took it easy that evening. The next morning, I woke up and it was still doing the same. So we ended up going to the emergency room. They said, yep, you're in atrial fibrillation. They gave me some drugs to try and convert my heart back over to the normal rhythm, and that didn't work. So they actually put me to sleep and gave me the paddles. Shocked my heart back
I
into
watched
its
it
normal
happen,
rhythm.
and there actually are not paddles modern day, but I thought there was going to be. So sorry to interrupt your story here, but this is kind of another high, but also low for me, because the doctor ended up letting me watch them shock Coleman while he was asleep, which I don't know if that's even allowed, but I got to watch it happen. And so they attached all these sticky pads to his stomach, and I was waiting for the doctor to put the pads together and do it, but all of a sudden I just hear him shout clear, and then Coleman's body just jolt from his toes all the way to the top of his head, and his eyes did this weird open thing, but they were all glazed over, and I didn't know if I was going to cry or pass out or laugh or what. It was a wild experience, although it was really cool to see all of the doctors sort of in their element and bringing Coleman's heart back to normal.
Yeah, so that was a low for sure. Thank you so much to everyone who reached out to wish me well. I felt really loved, and it was great to get to hug my parents. That was a high for me. Even knowing the next morning that they were the next state over was really comforting, because I love them and I like them. We had a great time visiting them.
We had a very nice time.
Yeah, so ups and downs like crazy.
Yeah, it's been one of those weeks. So we'll see what Las Vegas has in store for us.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we move on to our next segment?
Yeah, new segment.
New segment, fingers. Okay, so our new segment is called What the Heck Are We Watching?
Or listening to, or drinking. What's on our radar?
What's on our radar?
Yeah,
it's
what
called.
do we love?
What is on our radar this week? One thing that we cannot seem to get enough of is this podcast that CBC is doing right now. It's called Missing and Murdered, Who Killed Alberta Williams, and it is fascinating. They are being released once a week right now, and it is about this Indigenous woman from BC. She was murdered in 1989, and the CBC is reopening this case with the help of a retired RCMP officer, and so it's this beautifully produced podcast.
Yeah, it's fascinating and gripping, and I think it's a very important listen for Canadians in today's day and age. It's a modern day murder mystery, real life, but it also sheds light on a real important issue in Canada today. So I encourage you that if you haven't checked it out, to check it out. Missing and Murdered, Who Killed Alberta Williams, on iTunes or CBC website or whatever. It's a great listen and a very important issue.
So that's sort of our main.
Yeah.
What are we watching? Last, questions. We love questions. So if you guys have questions, first of all, leave them in the comments down here, or you can send us a tweet, Instagram, phone call, text message.
Yeah.
We accept any of those
Email,
things.
fax.
Yes,
Carrier pigeon.
We'll figure out how to get all those things. Should we check and see if we have any questions
let's check it out.
here? Let's just beep boop beep boop beep. There's a question.
Look at that.
There's a question. The question comes to us from an Instagram user here. She wants to know, what are we doing for New Year's? What are we doing for New Year's?
We have no idea.
We have no idea what we're doing for New Year's.
We're gonna kiss each other probably at midnight, if we're getting along at the time. We're gonna spend Christmas in Vegas, but after that we don't really know. So if you all are down here, you want to get together, let us know.
What are you guys doing for New Year's? Does anyone want to hang out with us? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe we'll answer our question with a question for you. What are you doing for New Year's?
What are you guys doing for New Year's? Okay.
That's it.
Well, that's it. So we're sort of on the border right now, I guess, of Arizona and Nevada. So when we see you next, we will be in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, so I encourage you to come on over to Instagram at Lietco, Lietco, and follow us along. We're going to be documenting all the cool stuff that we're doing there on our Instagram stories. So if you care to see what the healthy side of Las Vegas looks like, come join us. We'd love to have you. And as always, travel safe and be good to your neighbors. Bye, guys.
Bye.